Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Jeffrey Epstein Show. I'm your host, Bobbycapucci, and this is Daily Drop number 295. We're getting news today that Glenn Dubin and his wife, Eva Dubin, are going to be subpoenaed in the Virgin Islands as part of their civil racketeering case. So basically, a civil RICO case that is underway in the Virgin Islands has now not only embroiled Leon Black, but has also grabbed Glenn and Eva Dubin in the undertow. Now, of all these people that were involved with Jeffrey Epstein, all of these highbrow so-called members of polite society, Glenn and Eva Dubin had a very special relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. Now, remember, Jeffrey Epstein used to date Eva Dubin. Jeffrey Epstein remained very close to Eva Dubin even after she married her husband and hedge fund manager Glenn Dubin. So close, in fact, that Jeffrey Epstein was the godfather of their daughter. The same daughter, by the way, that he talked about marrying. Oh, by the way, there was also a trust in this daughter's name. When Jeffrey Epstein first got out of jail after being prosecuted, where do you think he spent Thanksgiving? With his brother? With Ghislaine? No. With the Dubins. Glenn Dubin and Eva Dubin are very crucial to what's going on here in the Jeffrey Epstein case, to what's going on with Jeffrey Epstein's associates, and the overall picture of RICO most certainly contains the Dubins. These people not only had a very tight friendship with Jeffrey Epstein, they were interconnected financially as well. And as you all know, if you've been listening to the podcast for just about any amount of time, I think that the people like Dubin and the Wexners and the Leon Blacks, I think the only way that we're ever going to see them spend any time in jail cells, if ever, is if it's through financial misconduct. I think that chasing these transactions down, finding out how this money was made and where it ended up, is all going to be super crucial as the investigation grows and we see this civil racketeering case turn into a criminal racketeering case. Because I am 100% sure at this point that we're going to see that sometime soon. The second the next person is arrested in this case, you will see it become a conspiracy, and you will see those federal charges absolutely multiply. Now, when that'll exactly happen, I don't know, right? I'm not going to sit here and make pretend I have any inside information. I don't. It's all speculation on my point, trying to put the pieces together and, following the pattern that we have seen from the prosecution thus far. So, from where I'm sitting, from my perch, it certainly looks like things are underway behind the scenes. We said the same thing when Ghislaine Maxwell was swooped up, and it's starting to heat up like that again. Now, what's going on here is obviously part of the civil investigation, right? But remember, there is a concurrent criminal investigation, at the very least a preliminary investigation underway in the Virgin Islands as well, that is running parallel to this civil case. So I am sure that they're both parties or groups who are investigating these cases are in contact with each other, and they're passing information back and forth as they pursue people like Glenn Dubin for their role in Jeffrey Epstein's criminal organization. So today's article is from Bloomberg. The headline, Virgin Islands intends to subpoena Dubin and Epstein lawsuit. Authors Jim Weiss and Catherine Burton. The U.S. Virgin Islands has filed notices with a local court of its intention to serve subpoenas demanding that hedge fund billionaire Glenn Dubin and his wife Eva Anderson Dubin hand over documents related to the territory's expanding racketeering lawsuit against the estate of deceased sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. And now, remember, they're also investigating Maxwell as well. While they're embroiled in this investigation, there's other ones going on at the same time, but they all overlap. They all have to do with the same players. And when this is all said and done, they will all work hand in hand to see these people to prison, if that is the result. It'll be because of all of the work done in all of these cases that are running right now. All of the stuff that's found out. All of the information that they get from these subpoenas. All of the financial information. And then it'll be up to the forensic investigators, right? The forensic accountants to piece all of it together. All of the transactions together. And find out who was profiting from these ill-gotten gains. And when you're talking about guys like Leon Black and now Glenn and Eva Dubin, you're talking about some of the biggest players on Wall Street, some of the biggest movers and shakers that you could possibly imagine. And now they're having their finances rifled through. I shouldn't take as much joy in that as I do because I'm not a big fan of the overreach of the government in most instances, but I think in this case that it's warranted. I think that these people have earned their privacy to be invaded by the federal government because at the very least, these people were close to Jeffrey Epstein, in his atmosphere, around him, and they even had a 15-year-old girl terrified in their kitchen, according to their butler, who said that she had been abused by Maxwell, Epstein, and Vickers on the island. So these aren't people who are, on the outside looking in. This isn't just somebody who was in a picture with Jeffrey Epstein at some point. These are people that were very close to Epstein, that have intimate knowledge of who Epstein was and what he was about. Denise George, the Attorney General of the Virgin Islands, sued Epstein's estate and 6 related companies in January, alleging violation of the territory's civil racketeering law. George is seeking unspecified damages, forfeiture of Epstein's private island in the territory, and restitution for his sexual abuse survivors. So again, I don't mean to rehash, but in case there are new people who are listening to the podcast, which is happening all the time, by the way, I have to say that I am not a fan of Denise George, and I think her posturing to set herself up to get some fundage for the Virgin Islands out of the estate is gross on its face and disgusting. I think that the survivors should be the ones who get all of this money. I think it's the least that they can do. And as far as the Virgin Islands, I would be more sympathetic to what George is trying to do here if the Virgin Islands didn't have elected officials working hand in hand with Jeffrey Epstein to make this whole entire thing go down there, right? We know he was down there because he had the tax havens. We know he had some side deals going on and some side hustles with politicians. We know all of this. And everybody looked the other way. And now, when all the chips got pushed to the table and everybody started to fold, now the Virgin Islands and Denise George think that they're going to be setting themselves up as some sort of victim here? I'm sorry, I can't get on board with that. Not now, not tomorrow, not ever. In the notices filed September 3rd and made public on the court's website Tuesday, the Dubins will have 30 days once they've been served with the subpoenas to hand over any documents they may have from 1998 until the present that detail their financial transactions with Epstein and their travel to Epstein's properties in the U.S. Virgin Islands. This is pretty significant stuff here, folks. The court's being very intrusive. Denise George is doing this on purpose. She's being very, very intrusive, and she's demanding some intimate information as far as their finances go. Obviously, the Dubins are going to hire a lawyer, or they have one hired already, probably. Some high-profile numbnut. My guess will be he's from Harvard, of the Dershowitz mold. And this guy's going to go in there and try and fight these subpoenas, I'm sure. But it's a significant move to see the authorities at least attempt to get Dubin's name on record here. Because I'll tell you what, folks, from the circumstantial evidence that we have, from what we have compiled and what we have read and what is available to us, it is not a good look for the Dubins, okay? And do you really think that he just stepped back from Highbridge because, he felt it was the time to spend more time with his family? That's the excuse they all use. He stepped back because he knew this Epstein fallout was far from over. He knew that more was going to come down the pipe. And in my opinion, this is the very beginning of the troubles for Glenn and Eva. The subpoenas are also asking for the Dubins to hand over documents and communications with Virginia Roberts, one of Epstein's survivors. It isn't clear whether the subpoenas have been served yet, nor whether the Dubins or any of the defendants to the lawsuit might object to the requests. Oh, they're going to reject the requests for sure. 100% without a doubt. When you're dealing with high-profile people like this, high-powered people with big, deep pockets, they like to draw shit out. They're not going to just acquiesce to these requests. They're going to go through the motions, and they're going to appeal. They're going to try and make it hard. And at the end of the day, what they're trying to do, like the rest of them, is not go on record and answer questions because they understand the peril that puts them in. In documents unsealed last year from a 2015 defamation lawsuit, Robert said Dubin is among the men Epstein sent her to have sex with. Dubin has always denied those claims. The subpoenas are also asking for all documents and communications between the Dubins and any female associated with Jeffrey Epstein. So that's all of the core four, Ghislaine Maxwell, and anybody we might have missed. So Leslie Groff, you're on notice. Adriana Ross, you too. Sarah Kellen Vickers, get ready. Nadia Marchenkova, oh yeah, you as well. All of you who might have had contact with the Dubins are going to have that stuff turned over eventually when their appeal fails. Because they're going to be subpoenaed in this case, and they're going to have to answer questions. The court most certainly want some questions answered in this regard. And I don't think there's any way for them to wiggle off of this hook. Then again, I'm not a lawyer, right? I certainly didn't go to Harvard. I'm not making, $3,000 an hour to sit around and try and get you off on technicalities or anything like that. But, common sense would say that the Dubins have zero wiggle room now. The Dubins have previously said that they are horrified by and were completely unaware of Jeffrey Epstein's unspeakable conduct. According to a representative, yes, so much so that Uncle Jeffy was over for Thanksgiving after his criminal sentence, right? Nah, they didn't know anything, though. These people think you're stupid. They think you're dumb. They don't think you're paying attention. But boy, are they in for a big shock. Last week's filings also indicate the Attorney General wants information from Highbridge Capital. Dubin, 63, founded Highbridge in 1992. A dozen years later, he sold a majority stake to J.P. Morgan Chase & Company for more than $1.3 billion. That's with a B. Epstein was paid $15 million for his role introducing Dubin to a key bank executive. I wonder who that key bank executive was. Who was working for J.P. Morgan at that time? I'll give you a hint. He works at Barclays now, and he is under fire by Edward Bramson. First name Jess, last name Staley. Ring any bells? Look, the pieces fit, right? The subpoenas seek all documents and communications with Epstein relating to J.P. Morgan deal and any about the role Epstein had in the transaction. They also seek documents on Highbridge's relationship as an investment advisor to any Epstein entity. Why would Epstein need any investment advice? I thought he was the guru. I thought they searched him out for his expert opinion on the stock market. Meanwhile, this dude was tanking stocks left and right, certainly not some sort of financial genius, and most assuredly not worthy of a Harvard fellowship. Mark Creator, Highbridge's chief operating officer, didn't return a call for comment. Yeah, that's a shock, huh? Why would he want to call and comment on this? That is why Glenn stepped down, so that Highbridge would have some cover in the fallout from all of this. It's like him stepping down is like the iodine pill, right? It's preventative maintenance in the wake of the nuclear Epstein fallout that is assuredly wafting their way. Now we have Jess Staley, Leon Black, Glenn Dubin. Three of the most high-profile money movers you could possibly imagine. All three of them now are under subpoena, investigation, or otherwise due to their relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. And you wonder why I say the banking sector and the bankers are one of the biggest problems we have. These money men who pay off and buy our politicians are the same disgusting sons of bitches that are hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein, breaking bread, and in the case of Dubin at the very least, according to Virginia, also partaking in the abuse. Enough is enough. It is time for a wide-ranging RICO case. Indictments for all of them, a court trial, and let the cards fall where they may. Authorities on the island are also conducting a separate criminal investigation into whether Epstein's longtime associate, Ghislaine Maxwell, participated in his alleged criminal sex trafficking ring. No charges have been brought, and Maxwell has denied wrongdoing. As of now, no charges have been brought. And that is the concurrent investigation that I was telling you about. It's running right now at the same time, parallel to the civil racketeering case. And at some point, like I was saying earlier, I believe that they will merge. I think we'll see indictments for RICO. I think these cases are going to merge. And if the prosecution is truly serious about this, if they're really going all out to the mattresses, ready for war, then people like Glenn Dubin, Jess Staley, and the rest of them are in for a very, very rough, at least 12 months. If you'd like to contact me, you can do that at bobbycapucci@protonmail.com. That's BOBBYCAPUCCI at protonmail.com. You can also find me on Twitter at BOBBY_CAPUCCI. All of the links that go with this episode can be found in the description box. All right, everybody, have a great night. I will be back tomorrow.